People, hello, how are we? Hopefully we're all doing well. I'm Tom. Derek Chisora beat Joyce. Who predicted that? No, I obviously predicted Joyce to lose that fight. I thought Derek Chisora would win. It wasn't a favourable prediction. Don't get me wrong. I also predicted Joyce. Sorry, I also predicted Joseph Parker to beat Wilder. Not many did that. I also predicted Joseph Parker to beat Zhilei Zhang. Both of those predictions were pretty out there. Predictions that I got right. This wasn't one of those. This wasn't one. This was a 60-40 fight where we're not really sure where Joyce is. We know where Derek Chisora is. He's a good fighter. He's just old and he's well past it. He's over the hill. 40, 41 odd years old. He's past it. We know that. The question was, where's Joyce? And has he really dropped to the level where Chisora can now beat him? That was the question. And most people thought, surely not. This is a guy who, not so long ago, pre Zhang fights, a lot of people had him top 3. Most people, and probably myself included, thought he'd go in there against any heavyweight and give them a good go. And I don't mean a puncher's chance good go. I've never really rated Wilder, but you can't deny he's always had that, I will land a bomb and you're done. Not that. I mean a genuine good go. Whether it be Usyk, Fury, AJ, he obviously beat Dubois, Parker, he beat Parker. You had him as, he goes in there and it's not really an upset if he beats anyone. You could argue maybe just because the sheer size of Fury that it would be a bigger upset because you can't really walk him down as obviously he tried to as Zhang. But, a lot of people, I don't say most, but a lot of people picked him over AJ. A lot of people picked him over AJ. And same for Usyk, because Usyk's just too small. And someone of that stature, in and around the top 5 guys, goes and loses to Zhang. Not too diabolical, because Zhang was a good guy, and we'll come on to Zhang in a bit, but was a good guy. Falls down, has a comeback fight, and looks, was it against Cash Ali, wasn't it? And he looked poor, I suppose is the best way of putting it. Weak, less than impressive. And you're wondering, is that because he's fighting the demons of his last loss, or really has he just fallen? So then he steps in against Chisora, and you're thinking, look, he's not that bad yet. He's got a beating at Chisora. So most people picked him against Chisora. I just looked at it and thought, I like to look at things in the grander picture. Like, don't just look at it and go, he lost to Zhang, and Zhang's a good guy, and okay, it was a comeback fight, so he wasn't that good. No, I look at it and go, he lost to Zhang. I don't really rate Zhang. That's why I picked Parker to beat Zhang. Zhang's got a big punch, a very big punch, and he's a humongous man. So yes, he can just swallow punishment and walk you down. But he's never had a good gas tank. I've never ever rated that. Struggled against Hrgovic, who I also don't rate. And when he beat Joyce, those fights weren't impressive. It was just two brutes stood there smacking the shit out of each other. And so I looked at that and thought, I don't know. Then I looked at the Cash Ali comeback fight and I thought, because I said that Joyce should walk him down and he didn't. Like, Joe should walk through him. He just didn't. And I was like, well, I'm not impressed. I'm really not impressed. I've looked at the run Chisora's been on, because Chisora's been on a bit of a run. Nothing crazy, but a bit of a run. And I thought, do you know what? Chisora gets the job done here. And I said, potentially a late stoppage, and he got a late knockdown, or points. And he got it, in the end, he got it on points. And that's why I picked that, because it's important. Everyone goes, oh, you're only as good as last fight. You're not. And it's also important to look at these fights in context. And the Zhang ones weren't great. So I thought, do you know what? Chisora gets there. And what that now tells me, like I've just said Chisora's on a bit of a run, but make no mistake, this isn't a good Chisora. And that's no disrespect to Chisora. He's just old and past it. The Chisora we saw against the Dillian Whites, he's not that. This isn't that Chisora. This is an old, or past it, a Chisora that's only fighting because he wants to get to 50 fights, really. And he obviously loves the game. No one expects him to be the world champion. So Joe Joyce is done. Joe Joyce is done. You don't lose to Zhang in the way you did, then lose to... then you know, have a less than convincing win against Cash Ali where he also took way too much punishment, and then lose to Chisora and come back in the mix against the top guys. You're done. It's not going to happen. And if I'm Parker, I'm asking for that rematch. Because Parker said he had a few issues, he's feeling ill, whatever it was, in the fight. He then lost. I'm getting the rematch, and it won't look too great because you're beating the man who's, you know, lost in his last 4 fights, his 3 losses. So you're beating that guy, which isn't that impressive. But at the end of the day, it's avenging one of the losses on your record. So if I'm Parker, I'm going, look, you've given me tough fights. Parker's still a tough fight. Joyce is still a tough fight. Let me avenge my loss and call him a favour. And that's kind of all Joyce has really got, because Joyce he's done. He's done. And then, okay, there's interesting fights. Yeah, he can have some interesting fights, of course, if he wants to keep fighting. I don't want him to. I want both of them to retire. I wanted both of them to retire before this fight. I didn't want this fight to happen, but it did. Here we are. I think Joyce should retire. It's like those press conferences, hearing them talk to each other was just like battle of the brain cells. It was that it can't be good for him. And you can see Frank Warren saying that, you know, will they fight again? And he's just thinking, look, it's dangerous sport. And it is. So I'd like to see him retire. Maybe, I don't think he will. He said he wouldn't. The crowd seem to want him to carry on. We'll see where he goes. Same for, you could, like I say, I think the same for Derek Chisora. If it were up to me, I'd say retire. I don't want to see you fight again. You've given me years and years of entertainment. I mean, let's think back to some of those Chisora fights. Those 2 Dillian White fights, the David Haye build-up, even the Klitschko build-up. I mean, obviously the Fury ones are a bit of back and forth. The entertainment he's given me, and you know what you're getting every time with Chisora. People aren't tuning up to see the most skillful fight. They're tuning in and turning up to see them, you know, go to war. And he does that, and he delivers. So I want to see him retire. He's given me what I want to see, but he's not going to. He says 2 more fights, hit 50, 1 more in Manchester. I don't know where the last one will be. For me, I think next, a headlining show against Dillian White. I'd watch a trilogy. You know, the last one ended, I think Chisora was doing good, got knocked off balance kind of by that point deduction, and then that was it. Kind of lost the fight. I'd watch a trilogy. With where Dillian White's at and where Chisora's at, again, a bit of a run, just beat Joe Joyce. I'd watch a trilogy, 100%. So for me, I think it's that. I think you go for the trilogy against Dillian White and then round off your career with a nice, easy, undercard, whenever it is, you know, win to say goodbye, to bid farewell to your boxing career. That's what I'd like to see. You let me know your thoughts, people, in the comment section down below. Make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe if you know how YouTube works. Peace.